Pixiekins, a daily inspiration deck by Paulina Cassidy, part two of two. So if you aren't familiar with this channel, I want to quickly go over what this is all about. So this is just about tarot and oracle decks that I have. I have flipped through 4K videos and shorts, and I have a playlist for each of the decks that are on this channel. And the longer videos here are reviewing the whole package, so we're taking a look at the book, the box, the cards, and like a lot of stuff that I feel is worth mentioning, because I really want, the purpose of this is just gonna give you an idea of what to expect. Sometimes I'm like, I want to buy a deck, and I'm like, you know, maybe it's like a deck that includes spells, and I'm like, well, what kind of spells are in the book? I would like to see that, and I can't get that information, right? So it's very hard to sometimes. And you know, there's things that I'm curious about that I can't really explore until I buy the deck. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna start releasing videos and talking about like everything that I can think of that might be relevant to anybody who's kind of interested in purchasing a deck. So whatever decks I have, that is the plan for this channel, and that is what I'm doing. So when I was doing part one of this video, I did talk about many different things, many aspects of this deck, but the one thing I didn't really go into were the messages on the cards. And if you haven't seen that video, I would encourage you to go and watch that video for, I guess, more context, but also you'll get a lot more information, more general information about the deck. This is just specifically kind of like because I left something out, I'm like, I gotta create another video. Like I just couldn't like put the deck away. I was like, I need to do another video. And so this is just specifically about the messages on this card. Now, if you've seen the first video, I'm sorry you have to sit here through a repetition. I promise it won't be long. I just want to mention this is a 72 card deck, so there's a lot of cards here. Also, this deck does not come with a book, so all the messages that we get are right directly on the cards. And again, if you're not familiar, please go watch the flip throughs or the other videos just so you can kind of get familiar with the artwork, because it's kind of relevant to what I'm saying here in this video, because this artwork is really just kind of very playful, very fun, very kind of like happy. I find it does have a bit of darkness to it, I think, like for me personally. And again, I want to mention that obviously I have my own biases in these videos, and they are, yeah, they're just there. Like, I'm not going to kind of make a video where I'm completely removed from things. The point of the bias is not to be like, oh, well, I like this, so you should like this, and not at all. The point of these videos is to kind of give you an idea of what the decks are, so like you can decide for yourself. But I'm gonna have biases, and I do voice them. I try not to be just all about like, oh, this is what I like and this is what I don't like, because I do want some objectivity, because again, I wanted to give you guys a chance to make your own mind up. But obviously I'm going to also voice my own likes and dislikes and stuff like that. So to me, the way that I see this deck is that it is fun, it is lighthearted, it has some darkness to it, maybe like fairy tale feel dark. And as I say that, that's a fairy, or what, it's a mermaid and a fairy. Yeah, so definitely kind of fairy tale-ish type of stuff. Okay, now I'm trying to find a card that is sort of like maybe like, I feel like this is a little bit darker themed. Like, is this an octopus, or what is going on with the legs here? Who knows? I don't really know. But let me see if I can find something that I'm thinking. I'm thinking of a card in particular, a very specific card. But just to kind of, or even this one, like this is a little bit witchy, right? I feel like this is a little bit witchy, like a little bit darker themed, even just the makeup there. Yeah, spider. And what is that? Like bones? Right? And like, if you look at the coloring, right, it's almost like maybe she's like a bit of a zombie or something, a witchy zombie or something. I don't really know, but yeah, So that is the artwork, but based on the artwork of this deck, I personally wouldn't be like, oh, like I probably would think that this, you know, like if we look at this, it just daily inspirational deck. It just looks like total happy, inspiring type of stuff, right? And what I wanted to talk about is that yes, it definitely has those messages. It has very inspiring messages. Let me see. Let me just see. A day filled with laughter is a day well spent. So a lot of oracle cards will kind of have messages like this, and they don't have too much depth. They just kind of have like this kind of stuff, like be happy and stuff like that. And there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you want cards that don't have a ton of depth and ton of heaviness and stuff like that. So please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything like against this. I like decks like this. This is part of the reason why I got this deck, was because it's so lighthearted, right? But I want to say that it also has, there's like a what do you call it, like a spectrum, okay, of the depth of messages. Like for this one, for example, inspiration can be found in the simple things. That is pretty straightforward, to the point, very lighthearted, don't really have to think about it too much. Every day is a fresh new start. But then if we kind of look at something like this, stay deeply rooted while reaching for the sky. Now, this could just be like, reach for the sky and that's it, right? But there's like a deeper message here for some of us. For obviously not everybody's going to pick up on this, but like for some of us who maybe have a hard time with grounding and staying rooted and not staying all up in our heads and feeling anxious and you know, stressed out and stuff like that, this could be really helpful, because it does have a little bit of a deeper meaning there. Here's one: stand up for what you believe in and never let others steal your joy. Right? So again, very inspiring, very, you know, uplifting, but it has a pretty strong message, I think. And I find a lot of this is like, yes, it says inspirational deck, but there's a lot of stuff about also self-growth and self-confidence. You deserve the cherry on top. Let yourself rest. The world will keep spinning. See what I mean? It's kind of like self-care. The secret to getting ahead is getting started. So it touches on things like this. It touches on things like creating, goal setting, not in those words, right? But it's there. You know, this one is soaring the directions of your dreams. It's very very light, doesn't really say much. It kind of reminds me of one of the cards we had at the beginning, and what was that? Inspiration can be found in the simplest things, right? So I feel like these ones don't, again, personally, I realize that some people might have a different perspective on this, but for me personally, I feel like this is sort of like very, there's not much depth to this, right? Whereas this, the secret to happiness is the realization that life is a gift, rather than just life is a gift, right? But the secret to happiness is the realization that life is a gift. That can get you kind of thinking. I feel like it's kind of on a different level. Be brave to become who you were always meant to be. And if I see another card, because I know there's another card with a similar message, so if I find that, we're for sure talking about it. Do more of what makes your spirit radiate. Again, that's just, to me, that's like really like just fun. Very nice, very uplifting type of thing. But here's another one kind of for self-worth. Never dim your light for the sake of making others comfortable. And I think that's a really powerful message. You are amazing, never forget it. I love that. If you stumble, make it part of the dance. So there, dreams demand hustle, hop to it. So we have soar in the direction of your dreams, right? So this is just kind of like a very general statement type of thing. I feel like this one kind of brings it down, and it's a lot more directional. It gives it direction. right? Dreams demand hustle, right? So it's telling you move. You got to move. You got to make things happen for yourself. Whether you think you can or cannot, you're right either way. So I hope you can kind of get an idea of what I am trying to show here, is that it's a deck of inspiration. Of the way I see it, it's a very kind of happy, light-hearted deck, and it has very short messages. There's no book, there's no like heavy stuff to it, and yet some of these messages here are full of depth and meaning if you kind of think about it, or if it's relevant, because obviously not everything's going to be relevant, right? Like somebody could read this and they're like, well, that's not applicable, so they're not going to give it more thought, right? But somebody else might actually take this card and give it a lot more thought, and it could help to kind of move their life for that day in a specific direction. And here's a really lighthearted one: get your magic on. Your biggest fear might just contain your greatest growth. You see? So I hope you get what I'm trying to show here with this deck. I think I'm just going to leave it here because I feel like I've really spoken enough about this, and I feel like I hopefully have driven the point home here. And I think I'll just leave it here. I just really, I'm going to show you another one because I love these cards. Create a unique style, own it. But great deck. I definitely recommend it if you're into the artwork, if you're into just having kind of like a simple deck that's not overwhelmingly deep, dark, or whatnot. Like some of the decks are really great for like inner work, shadow work, and stuff like that. I feel like this one would be really great maybe to, if you want to work on like shadow work or like kind of dig in or anything like that. It would be great to kind of like work alongside a deck that has more depth or more darkness, if that's kind of what you're looking for. If it's something that you just kind of want to pull a card a day, nothing too heavy, nothing too deep, this is great for a little bit more depth into, like, if you're doing readings. I'm just going to show you the cards as I'm talking so you have something to look at. But for any sort of readings that you're doing where you kind of want to just get a little bit more from the reading, maybe like a different perspective, or a little bit, you know, if you're doing tarot and then you pull like one of these, you're going to get a little bit more. So just overall, really great deck. I really like it. I really recommend it again. Watch the first video because we talk about the quality of the cards and stuff like that as well, how would they shuffle and things, and I do show what they look like in a reading as well, with like a tarot card or like something else. So if that's something you're interested, feel free to check that out. But yeah, this is the artwork, these are the cards, and I'm going to leave you guys here. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in and watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to help me out, like, share, comment, subscribe to this channel. It really does help a ton when you guys do that, and if you do, thanks so much. If you want to be notified of future releases as well, I think that I don't know, but I hear that if you don't hit the notification bell, you're not going to get notified of new releases, and that's totally okay, right? Like, not everybody wants to have a ton of notifications hitting them all day long, right? So that's cool. If that's not something you want to do, so just come back, check back for new content, new releases if you want to see more. I took a bit of a hiatus from recording, but from now on I plan on recording and releasing on a regular basis. So if you want to see more, then be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell or not, and I will see you in the next one. I hope you have a great day, great evening whenever you are watching this. I hope you are well, many blessings, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.